Hello, marketers. Welcome to Originals. Today, our guest is a content writer. She curates web and SEO content, write articles, visual content skills is there. She has actively contribute content on the different platforms, such as she is a creator with the 52,000 followers on Space and partner at Quora. She is a member at Google Local Guides community, and also she is a member at HBR Accent Select. Join me in welcoming Diksha Sinha to hashtag Originals. How are you, Diksha?
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I am doing good. How about you?
I'm doing absolutely fine, and pleasure hosting you, Divya. I've been following your post, and that makes me click that we should host you. Because
Yeah,
the only vision that at the Marketing Soul we follow is the best of the content for our community and learn, network, and grow.
absolutely.
So, what makes you enter into freelancing?
Okay. So it was eventually, of course, and the thing was that I was associated as a editorial head in my college society. So I had an experience of content for the 2 years. So I really liked the area. I liked that yes, I'm doing good in that, or I wanted to explore more a bit. So I told my parents that I don't want to do a job for the time. I want to complete my education, and then I can go forward with that. So they said, okay, they're absolutely fine. And they helped me with going the distance. And they told me to explore as much as you can. And it was in the year October 2019, I was approached by someone who told me that he is in a requirement of a website content writer. So I said, so I gave him the previous social media post that I was doing in college, and I was, as I said, I was associated with Quora, so I wrote about University of Delhi questions there. So I gave him all the relevant information, and he found it very helpful. And he said that I'm going to look forward to work with you. And that's how marked my first day at freelancing on 30th September 2019.
That's lovely. That's lovely. And this brings another level of motivation when your work get recognized at the very first shot, and the way you have worked on it's also commendable. So congratulations
Yeah,
to you for that also.
thank you so much.
So taking the conversation forward, let's understand from you about what are the different type of content writing styles that one can have the exposure for.
So, like, if we talk about styles of writing, so there are four styles. Then, first is about narrative. Narrative writing is basically about storytelling, where a person is able to visualize himself and share his or her experiences. And you know that in this digital world, storytelling has become the most important factor. Means the connection that we feel. Like, okay, if I am sharing my story, you will feel such some sort of connect with me. So that is about narrative writing, about storytelling and sharing our experiences. Second is about opinion writing, where I share about my opinions. Now, suppose if there is news, so obviously there are two folds: positive, negative, or merit, demerit, or something, or people can have different opinions. So that kind of writing can be under opinion writing. Then it can be about expository writing. Expository writing means sharing the all the information that is related or pertaining to the business, right? So, like if I'm into content, so I will expose, that is expository. I will expose whatever knowledge I have about content, that is about expository writing, and it can be related to any field as well. And this is how the writing works. And one more thing is that in under these writing, there are lots and lots of things to go forward with. Whatever niche you find it suitable, and whatever niche you find that yes, I can do this. Like if I have an interest in YouTube description, so I can go for that. If I have an interest in writing blogs, so I can go for that. If I have interest in telling stories of brands and something, I can go for that. So inside it, there are lots of divisions that people come across as soon as they enter the scene.
Through that, so effectiveness of the content, then what is important in that case?
Effectiveness of content is very important. Firstly, what value you are providing in, and what quality of information you are telling to the concern, and how much it is relatable. Like you can see that the meme market is blooming right now, very very high. Why? Because they are relatable. They are not of information, it's not filled with information, but yes, it is relatable, and that's the reason why people are preferring that. So effective content means quality that you give in, the value that you provide in, and the sharing capacity that the post holds. That are the three aspects of effective content.
That's very important.
Yeah.
So Quora is such a great platform. You have 52,000 followers out there. So will this help in acquiring business?
Absolutely, businesses have started doing that because of Quora. They have introduced Quora ads and Quora businesses in the year December, in the year 2020. And what they are doing is, because see, it's not possible that everyone is on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn. Okay, uh, people are on Quora. If even if you don't have a Quora account, you can simply check that answer. So what the reason is that businesses, if they want to provide the information now, they are now approaching to Quora, and Quora has a bandwidth of making it available to millions of users across the world. And I have examples like about Apollo Hospitals, cartires.com, and there are many other big names who entered Quora. They were not on Quora, they entered Quora, and they filled out the relevant information about COVID first on Quora, and then it was advertised across different media platforms. So with this, they were able to explain it in a detailed manner such that I can understand, I can share with anyone, I can share with entire world, and that comes in a positive force. And now, because now, as I said about the Quora business, that is about paid thing. But if I talk about organic thing also, there are brands, individual person who want to make their brand on Quora, and they have started using it. I personally manage my clients that and help assist in Quora branding and marketing. So you can see that how much the business and the individual person are impacting.
So as a follow-up question, what is important when it is about Quora branding or writing on the Quora?
Okay. In Quora branding or Quora marketing, what thing is about a personalized connect with the people. How personalized connection you have in your answer means you need to answer in such a way that you are actually talking to that person. Suppose if I get a question like what are the top courses of digital marketing, so if I'm a normal person, I will say कि, okay, ये link है, you can go from there. So that won't make an impact. And Quora will download the question ultimately, even if you put the link. But what we do, what others do, is we can just have a personalized connect. Hey, thank you so much for your question, and I feel that you have a very good interest in digital marketing. So I belong to this field or something. We can share about our experiences. And for your convenience, I am sharing down the link of the top digital marketing courses. You can just list out and check whatever best is for you. So I gave him the information also, I gave him the experience also, I gave him the link also, but in a prescribed and a constructive manner, such that he can feel ki, yeah, she was talking to me, yeah, he was talking to me. And then they will definitely bring you the results as well. And Quora will not download that question. That's the main thing. So that is how we can have a connection between the audience as well as.
So basically, emotional connect works.
Absolutely. So what will be the difference? If I talk about any other social media, if I ask what are the 10 digital marketing, okay, this is the link, you can go from there. That is from other social media platform. But Quora mein you need to have that thing. That what it make it different from other social media platform. Means you need to have a sense of connect. You can't directly see to it. You can't directly call to action. That's what it is. In other platforms, it is absolutely fine. Link दे दिया, share हो गया, हो सकता है. But Quora पे अगर आपको link देना है, तो do it in a way such that it is a personalized connect, and people will feel and they will definitely get back to you. And it is bringing down the results. It's not like I'm just saying Bhabi Pulao kind of. It is actually working in. I am working with clients who are doing the same, for which I'm doing the same. And there are other instances also who are my fellow creators who are into Quora. They are also having that same.
Right. Which one is your favorite platform when it comes to business? B, overall. Now, if we talk about branding.
So services, if like I have my service, so it's obviously LinkedIn, because LinkedIn ke through I get to know that the person is requiring about Quora or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, something like that. So LinkedIn is for services, of course, and for branding it's Quora. Though I try to manage my everything on different social media platform, because Quora is something that I've been since December 2017, so I have a personalized connect with it. And I always thank Quora as a platform for bringing up here till here, and that's why the platform will be always special for me.
Lovely, lovely, and I appreciate your sentiments, the way you are moving forward in the direction of it.
Thank
So
you.
going forward, there is a context called now it's been a visual content that when we discuss. So this is another form of a content writing. So what are your thoughts to have an appealing visual content, and where we can use them for a better response?
Visual content is basically about carousels and posters and how well you design that. Even if it has a one design only, if you like, if it's a suppose blood, recently it was Blood Donor Day. So how you represent blood also, that is also what visual content means. कि the content, the visual content should have that power कि उसको देखने के बाद ही मुझे समझ आ जाए कि उस content में वो कहना क्या चाहता है, without saying any words. There is no word written. Okay, there is just a symbol, but how you represent that symbol is what appeal to the people. That is visual content. Then comes about the posters that is related to various days or something informative that you need to share with the people. Carousel is another form of content that gives a detailed description about something. Like if I say uh, what are the do's and don'ts of discovery call, so it will compel the person. If you will add some text, if you'll add some cool graphics, if you add some stock images or something, so it will enhance my reading capacity and I would like to learn about it by swiping through the carousels and all. So visual content is very important nowadays. Even if it's a card, even if it's a letterhead, all these adds up to your business as well as your service.
Right. So what to ensure, the one tip that you mentioned, it was to be precise in your content and the creativity. So what
Yeah.
else will work for the visual content?
Color combination. We have a separate study of color combination because see, there are lots and lots of colors, we know that, but what kind of combination works with which kind of color is very important. The text that you add in, the kind of photo you add in. If you add something photo that is irrelevant to the context or the text, because it happens in the initial stages, it can happen, but you need to make sure of that. You need to make sure that color combination is very important. If the color combination is not appealing to me, I won't read that. That's as simple. And it goes for everyone, right? There should be a color combination. If it is not matching, like if it's a purple and there is a very bright yellow in that, so purple may, I won't be able to see the yellow, I won't be able to see the text, and it will, just I will just swipe, scroll down without reading the post because I'm not able to understand the text only. वो इतना bright है कि मैं समझ ही नहीं पा रही. So color combination, good images, good text, good font, and about the how you appeal, how you create, and the call to action. All of them.
So just a small question on this. So where I should use the carousels for the visual content and where I should not?
It perfectly goes with Instagram and LinkedIn.
The LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
any specific
Instagram.
occasion, or it could be for anything that I can use it, carousels?
It can be anything. It can be anything. Informative, any kind of thing. Like what if like about the organization, the marketing source. So what you do, what's the purpose? So you can have a carousel that we serve this purpose. So what will you serve? Then you can swipe that this is this. Then again swipe. Then this is this. So you can appeal. You can inform the customer about you, your brand, what you do, what are your skills, what are your experiences, what are the learnings that you have. Anything you can share anything.
Right.
And LinkedIn works good in a PDF format, and Instagram so is good for carousels.
Right, right. I agree. I agree. So before we move on to the another question, I have an announcement for our viewers. Dear community members and those who would be watching this video, I have a small announcement for you that we are getting strong every day with the passionate marketers onboarding every day. So it's a blessing to see all this, and those who have not joined yet, please do join for the best of the marketing community experience ever. Link is in the description, and please subscribe to the channel to stay tuned to the latest learning from the marketing soul. Thank you. Taking over Diksha with this content, mostly we get short of the ideas, right? So where to drive the source of inspiration to get regular content ideas?
Okay. So about if I talk about my experiences and the fellow creators as well, who are very known to me, who are very fruitful. What I have seen is that reels, firstly, blogs, Twitter content, most importantly, comment section. I know, like, through comments, I have created a lot of posts, like, seriously. And the impact that it has, that if I'm writing that content now, people are, getting that notification that this has been commented, and I don't remember the ekdam se aa jate hain wo responses. Then I get to know through LinkedIn communication that I saw your comment in that, so I would like to connect or something. You can see comment, very important. Reels, reels karo sir. Also taking inspiration from my creators, taking inspiration from big creators as well, and blogs, YouTube, and surroundings, and WhatsApp images, WhatsApp text. All of these are source of information. You can get anything from it.
Yeah, I
I have
think
myself created through WhatsApp post. Yeah. Means the valuable ones, of course, for which I can add value to the people. Otherwise, it may be scrolled down. No, not that, but the kind of informative, information through WhatsApp that we get. These are the major sources, and surroundings, of course. Like if I'm seeing the wood, so maybe I can create a content from wood as well. So that's how.
that's right, and I think that's a way out to bring the another perspective of the same issue that some other person might have highlighted in a different way, and you could have different thoughts on it. So I second
Yes,
your thought. In fact, great,
exactly.
great. Finally, moving to the last leg of our conversation. No, what would be your recommendation as a roadmap to start a journey as a freelancer content creator? How to start getting projects?
Okay, so like when I started as freelancing, I like, see, we learn from our experiences. We have good, bad, ugly, every kind of experiences we have. But the thing is that we need to make sure that where we are comfortable in working with the client or with the prospect. The roadmap, if you talk about, is like we start with small. Okay, we don't aim for having a direct 5 figure or 6 figure income. We start with three also. We start with four also, right? So starting with small, for which you are confident enough that you can handle. If I handle three projects in the starting, so no, neither I will be able to give time to this, nor this, nor this, because I don't know the experience how to manage. That's how. So start with small, and then you can make it to big. If you are into social media, start with one and then go to many, because if you start with many at the very first time, it will be very difficult to manage. And at that time you won't be inconsistent, you would be inconsistent, and you won't be able to add that value that people are looking in forward to. So that is the number two thing. Number three is having a good portfolio and updating also. Like we see that portfolio are there, but we are not able to update that, but we need to update with the latest information. Like suppose if someone has started with freelancing in 2016, let's say, and she got a project in 2018, but so the portfolio should be something that has information of 2017 also. Okay, 2016 she started, it's okay, but we also want the updated information as well. The clients, the prospects need that, so it should be updated in a good manner. Fourth is connecting with the like-minded people of the industry, because you never know that your follower can be your client. Your Through one comment you can get a client, you don't know that. So building a fruitful connections with them, collaborating with them, taking help from them is all, help to make out. And number seven thing is that learn to say no for which you are not comfortable. We are very, it's quite overwhelming to see lots and lots of new projects. We are very happy with that also, that people do approach us, and people do approach other creators as well. But the thing is that freelancing does not mean that you need to be available 24 by 7. You have a personal life, you have your own life. Stick to your boundaries. Okay, stick to your boundaries. Learn how to say no. If you're not comfortable, it's okay, you can say that, right? Nobody is a superman or a superwoman who can have 24 hours day hustling and productivity and all. You can't force creativity. Okay, you can't force that. So learn to say no, and if you're not comfortable, please don't do it. And take much as you can. As simple as
That's right. And some more tips if we can hear from you how to start getting projects.
okay, this was a roadmap. How to get projects is, most importantly, if you are at a starting stage, try to, converse with your family, friends, or relatives for any kind of project they are looking forward to. Number two is cold emailing and pitches to the companies or the individual person who are, who want you to, work with. Like there are hashtags like hashtag freelancing, hashtag work in Instagram and LinkedIn, where people genuine connections also, genuine connections. They tweet, they share about their requirements. And with this, like I myself have pitched to clients for this. I saw one post, and there was a requirement, and there was like around 15-20 people, and also I just shared my pitch, and they were happy and they got it. So that is another source by which you can create good leads. And number four is about, if you are comfortable, you can go with freelancing platforms. But since I haven't used that, so I won't be able to guide you in that. But like big freelancing platforms, they might be that many people are already into there, so you might get, you might won't get that kind of a thing. But you can add for like Vouch or reference.com. You can build a community there, and you can start with freelancing there. And most importantly about like cold emails, quality pitch, yeah, and social media. Like, see, one thing that I need to make it clear is that your follower count won't be counted as a measure to get client. A person who has 10 followers also can get client. A person who has 100 followers can also get client. So your persistence and your consistency in what you are trying to put value to the concern matters. And this is how client can approach you for their work and for their requirements. So that's very important. Add value, add consistency. It will definitely work.
Right. Thank you so much, Diksha, for this amazing conversation and the valuable insights that you have shared with us. And I'm sure once the viewer would be watching this video, they would be going to have the best of the learning experience in terms of content writing, which was the topic that we have chosen for today. So any concluding note from your side?
I just would like to say that freelancing is a like, if I want to end the statement, it is like risk hai to ishq hai kind of thing. Kiki, I just shared a webinar, so I also posted that thing in that. So it's full of ups and downs, but the thing is that if you take your experiences as learning, so it will be a good path to you. Okay, there can be a point that where you feel that the person is earning this much or the person is handling this much, but you need to make sure that how much you can handle, how much you can manage, because you have a life after all, right? We are not कि हर समय आपको productive ही रहना है, okay? So you can have your own way to manage things. You can have your own boundaries, set your own limits. You can take inspiration from people, but don't try to copy them, okay? Because you don't know the level they were in and how, where are you standing right now. So take this as a experience note and keep on moving, keep on learning, keep on upskilling yourself, keep on trying, keep on experimenting, and keep on doing that.
So this wrap up our originals for today with the plastic ending that Diksha has given to it. Thank you so much, Diksha, once again for being with us on Originals.